Greetings. I'm going to show you how to create a digital breakout room. If you're not familiar with breakout rooms or escape rooms, they're a very popular pastime, I guess, or activity that adults usually do. These are some examples on the screen where adults work together to solve a series of clues and then break out of the escape room. Well, we don't have the money or the space to do that. So what we're going to do is create a digital breakout game for our students. We're going to do this using Google Forms. So I'm in Google Drive, and the first thing I'm going to do is open up a new Google form. So we're just doing like a test version. So what we're going to do is we're just going to call this the breakout game. But of course, you would call your breakout game whatever you would want to call it, something more relevant. What you could use this for is an in-class activity. You could use it as a review. This is actually an excellent way to review a bunch of information really fast. So the first thing you'd ideally want to do is come up with a compelling story. The students get more into it. They enjoy it more if there's a story. Why are they unlocking these clues? What is the purpose? When I did a breakout game, it was for economics. So the mystery was who stole the beige book? And the beige book is the book that the Federal Reserve uses to make monetary policy. So all of the little clues were intended to help the students figure out who stole the beige book from the Federal Reserve. So we're just going to make up a simple story just for purposes of this tutorial. So I'm just going to say, who stole the puppies? We want the puppies back. All right, so that's going to be our breakout game. Now the first thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to add a new section because you want each clue to be on a different section, and I'll show you why in a couple of minutes. All right, so this first section is going to be the entryway for our students. So ideally you would have more of a story than just who stole the puppies. You would give a little more background on why they're playing the game and what the students are trying to solve. You can also add a picture over here where it says add image. So we're going to look for a lock on Google, and that's a very locky looking lock. So we're going to include that as our image on our front page. What we're also going to do is we're going to add a question, and it's the most important question. Who are you? So we're going to add a question, and that question is going to be first and last name, so that we know who is filling this out, who these students are. We're going to make it short answer and make that a required section. So here's why we're making separate sections. I'm going to go into preview mode. That's the little I. This is what it'll look like to the students. So they'll see that there's a lock. They'll see the little story, which is just who stole the puppies right now. And they'll see that they have to enter the first and last name or they won't be able to move on. And you don't want them to be able to move on before they enter their names. If you want to make this a group assignment, you can change the length of this first question from short answer to paragraph, and then they can write multiple names. It'll be a little harder to sort, but you'll be able to get everybody's name on the assignment, which is of course important. So then you want to create a series of clues. So for each section, there should be a different clue. And I'm going to show you how to do that. So we're trying to figure out who stole the puppies. So we're going to call this lock number 1 because this is the first lock that the students have to unlock using their skills, their deductive reasoning skills. Now, I'm not using content-based questions, but you certainly can. So the first lock, if you're teaching about the Industrial Revolution, maybe it's a clue about Andrew Carnegie, and the answer is going to be Andrew Carnegie to the question. Or if you're teaching about world history, maybe the answer is the French Revolution. So we're trying to figure out who stole the puppies. So our first clue is going to be that the person who stole the puppies has hair the color of a fire truck. All right, so the answer to that is going to be red. So we're going to change this type of question, and this is the most important part. This is what makes the whole breakout game work. We're going to change the type of question to short answer, and I'm going to tell the students exactly how they need to respond to this question. So I want them to write in all caps, just so that their answer doesn't get disqualified if they use a combination of upper and lower case letters. Because what we're going to do is we're going to create a setting, and I'll show you that in a minute, that will match, that will require rather the student's answer to match the answer that I want. So I'm going to say write your answer in all caps, write in all caps, and I'll write that in all caps. And then here's what makes it work. First, you have to make the lock required. Otherwise, the students aren't unlocking anything. They can just click next and skip all of your questions. The next thing we're going to do is we're going to click on these three little buttons. Look like three little dots stacked up on top of each other, like that old candy that's on a sheet of paper, Dippin' Dots or something. And then where it says response validation, we're going to click on that. So this is very important. This is what makes the whole game work. And we're going to change this to text, contains, and we're looking for the answer red. So we're going to write, and I instructed the students to write in all caps. So I'm going to write the color red in all caps. And then the error message that I like to use is still locked, meaning if the students try to answer it but they get the wrong answer, then they're going to get this error message. So let's see what this looks like now that we have a lock for them to unlock. So we have the first page, which sets up our story, who stole the puppies. First and last name, a student. We're going to hit next. And now the breakout game really starts. So we have our first clue and our first lock. The person who stole the puppies has hair the color of a fire truck. I'm going to write my answers. Well, first I'm going to write my answer in lowercase and see what happens. Oh, still locked. Well, I didn't follow directions. Well, what if I write in upper and lowercase? Still locked. So this is why I like to have the students respond in all caps, and I tell them to write in all caps so that they don't get discouraged if they answer the correct answer, but then it's still locked. They just have to write in all caps, and then their answer will match. So I'm going to follow directions, and look at that, it's unlocked. And then I hit submit, and then the teacher gets my response. Another fun thing that you can do at the end of the breakout game, I'm going to add another section. And it's going to be a congratulations, a celebration section. Congratulations. You've solved the mystery. And then I'll insert a picture. Let's look for some fireworks. Those are nice. So then when the students get to the end of the breakout game, they get a little celebration. Now, you can always add some offline celebration as well. What a lot of teachers do is if students do solve the breakout game, and if you make your breakout game challenging enough, not every student's going to solve it, and that's going to be okay. But if they do solve it, a lot of teachers, they'll reward the students with candy, or they'll reward them with some sort of prize. And most teachers that do breakout games, they take a picture at the end. If the students consent, of course, they take a team picture for the students who did break out. And then, of course, you can post those pictures in your classroom. You can post them on your wall. You can post them to Canvas, and it's a fun thing. All right, if you have any questions about creating digital breakout games, please let me know.